Hello and welcome to Binge Watch Breakdown. Today we are going to be looking at episode 2 of From Season 3. I'll start by recapping the episode and then go into my thoughts and theories of this episode. The episode starts in the morning after the monsters ambushed Boyd and Mrs. Liu, who unfortunately died after the monster tortured her, nonetheless in front of Boyd. This scene of Boyd breaking down and holding Mrs. Liu's body is pretty sad. Also that morning in the forest, we see that Jim finds crops growing around the lake, a lake that we've never seen before. This is a huge plus because one, the issue of food shortage is dealt with, and two, it will give people more incentive to go into the forest and find more stuff there. Also, I don't know why, but I have the feeling that the lake might be connected to the woman who Elgin keeps on seeing, because she's always seems to be associated with water. First, she tried to drown him, and then in the first episode, we saw her hands were wet. Tabitha then wakes up on Victor's dad's couch, and surprise, surprise, he has a gun and isn't afraid to use it. So I guess like father, like son. He basically wants to know how she managed to get Victor's lunchbox and isn't buying her story. Which, in his defense, she sounds crazy. But it's kind of frustrating that he's not believing her, because I just want to see what's in the basement that the trailer hinted at. He eventually believes her when she mentions seeing the children, and it turns out his wife also used to see the children before she and the kids disappeared. This information leaves me with so many questions. It implies that the town was somehow able to communicate with her, and eventually she got stuck there. Because apparently many people have been chosen to save the children, which makes you wonder, is saving the children their way home, or is it just a part of this whole quest, as Ethan likes to put it? Another question is, was the boy in white helping her free the children, or was he trying to prevent her from doing so? Remember when he threw her out of the window in the lighthouse? And also, is there a way to save the children from the outside, now that she's on the outside? So Victor's dad mentions that he got a gun 40 years ago when his family went missing, meaning Victor's been in the town for at least 40 years. And to be honest, that's kind of sad. Moving on, Donna is a like a girl, shut up. Last episode, you are practically having a mental breakdown over the lack of food, and now you want to get mad at Boyd when he's trying to save the last food resource at the time? Seriously, those animals were all you had. Like, yeah, I know no one wanted to see Mrs. Liu die, but had Boyd not tried to save the animals, a lot more people would have died.
Get the out of here.
I feel you, Boyd. Anyway, so Fatima seems to be getting worse. Not only does she have severe vomiting, but also she's losing her teeth. After a checkup with Mary L at the clinic, it's determined that she's malnourished, and it doesn't help that she can't manage to keep anything down, except rotten food for some weird reason. I don't know why, but this is giving Monster Baby vibes, to be honest. Then we see Boyd shivering. Gosh, can someone give this man a coat? These people need layers to survive this winter. Kenny arrives in town and shortly finds out that his mom died. I really feel bad for Kenny at this point. While he's processing the death of his mother in the diner, the jukebox starts playing Celebration. Gosh, this town is evil. A pissed off Kenny then decides he's going to burn the monsters in the tunnel, which, comment below if I'm wrong, but I don't once remember an on-screen conversation where Tabitha or anyone told Kenny that the monsters live in the tunnels. So I want to know how he knew. How? I'm not into these off-screen conversations. Show us. Anyway, Boyd persuades Kenny against his suicide mission after he shares his mother's last words with him.
Oho chuguko yigata kochigela. I don't even know if I'm saying this right.
A bit of a side note, but I have to mention, in the whole town, the only people that have something positive and happy going on in their lives is Ellis and Fatima. Aside from the fact that she's super sick and might possibly be having a monster baby, and of course, the obvious thing, they're stuck in a horrible place, they still managed to meet each other, fall in love, get engaged, and now they're going to have a baby that they both want. I think they have the best situation compared to the rest of the people in this town so far. Boyd decides he wants to capture one of the monsters to get more information and asks Ellis to help him do so. I think this will be part of what he will be doing next episode, which is good progress because this is one thing that fans have been asking the producers to do. By the way, I find it kind of ironic how they need more information, but Victor has disappeared. Like, this dude has been here for 40 plus years. Boyd, come on, just ask him a couple of questions. He'll give you the information you need to know. Lastly, we have Jim in the kitchen and the phone rings. I've been waiting for this scene since the trailer dropped.
Hello.
Dad? It's Thomas.
To be honest, I hated the phone call. I was hoping it would be the voice he had when he made the tower, but turns out it was Thomas, which makes no sense because he died when he was an infant. I highly doubt that it's actually him. I think it's a hallucination, not real, like how Boyd sees Father Cartry or his dead wife. I believe people are being affected psychologically by this town, and that's why they see people that they know died. So either the town has mysterious forces that manipulate what you see, or this is just a psychological response to the trauma you get from being in this town. And by the way, like, one of the theories I had was that there are other people living in this town. But to be honest, I feel like that theory is kind of like in the toilet at this point because of, one, the phone call. I expected the phone call to be coming from someone maybe possibly within the town or even from the outside, but turns out it's Thomas, who's obviously dead. I don't think it's Thomas. And also the fact that the cabins were empty. I thought they would find cabins where people are living, possibly, but that isn't the case. So what progress has the town made so far? So far, they've managed to find food, and that issue has been taken care of, and at least that helps to alleviate some of the tension in the town. Things that don't make sense. First of all, how did Kenny know about the tunnels when we haven't seen them discussing it on screen? Secondly, what was Sarah doing outside on the first night in episode 1? As for the way forward, I think what we're going to see happen is Boyd is going to capture a monster to try and extract information from it. Possibly in future, they might ban the monsters. That's if they can find where they're staying, because Jade apparently mentioned to Boyd that he didn't see any monsters in the tunnels. And lastly, I think there's going to be more exploration of the forest in order to find other resources, and I think it will also help them unlock some of the mysteries in that whole place. Theories. The town wants you to see or hear what it wants. That's why various people are hearing and seeing different things. Earlier in season 1, we saw Boyd, he would be able to hear his wife when he was in the forest, but not see her. And then we saw scenes where he was able to see her. Now it seems like Jim is kind of going through the same thing. He's hearing his dead child, who obviously isn't alive. Secondly, I think that there's an aspect of psychological warfare, and that these townspeople, it's not just the monsters that they have to worry about. They also have to worry about what the town is going to do to them mentally, which could be just as bad. And lastly, which might be a bit of a reach, but I think Fatima could be having a monster baby. Or even if her baby isn't a monster, there is something very unnatural about that pregnancy, and I don't know what it is. First of all, she couldn't have a baby. Second of all, she's getting very sick, although we can attribute that to the malnutrition. But the fact that she's eating rotten food, that's crazy. And there are a couple of questions we need answered. So first, who the heck is the boy in white? And whose side is he on? And secondly, who's the guy in the yellow suit in the picture in the basement? Overall, I'll have to say that the episode was a good episode. It was emotional as people were processing Mrs. Lu's death, and I felt pretty bad for Kenny. Now he has nothing to lose, and he'll probably be going on the offense. And as much as it's sad that she died, this episode was meant to fire up the people in the town so that they can go out and seek answers and also a way home. And last but not least, I'm going to give my MVP of the episode and who I thought was the biggest flop of the episode. So my MVP of the episode, I don't think there was one this episode. I think the most valuable person of an episode should be the person who helps father get answers or helps drive the plot. And I'm kind of biased on who I give this to, but I'll give it to Victor's dad. He gave us key information about certain people being chosen to save the children. And also, I might want to give it to Jim as well, because he did help us find the food, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Jim. And my biggest loser is Donna, which I don't have to say why.
Get the out of here.
If you reach this point of the video, please comment below your thoughts on the episode, and thank you for watching.